Hello friends, welcome to Thermomixing Adventures. Lisa here. Today I am getting ready to, just checking the mic was working, getting ready to go to Tasmania, to Hobart for a Thermomix leadership event, and I think I'm packed. Apparently it's really cold. If you're watching on from Tassie, I'm hoping to bring the warmer weather because I don't own cold clothes, okay? So I'm a bit concerned about my lack of clothes that I can take to a cold space, but a lot of it will be inside. We do have some beautiful tours to do. I'm sure they're going to be out in people's gardens and things like that. So I'm excited, and I'll hopefully bring you some content from there as well. And I've also this week got some things popping up on YouTube at 6 o'clock at night, which is showing you how to use my freezing stashing recipes. That is on my website if you want to go check it out. I wasn't going to tell you that today, but I'll tell you anyway. It's actually not where you normally find courses on my website. This is a little different, the freezer filling one. I've actually done it as an ebook with the links embedded to the ebook. So you actually are going to my shop, you are purchasing the ebook, and in the ebook, when you download it as your copy, you then have a link to Cookidoo 3.0 if you actually want to pull it onto your Cookidoo. And if you don't, that's okay. You've got the ebook to follow. Everything's 3 or 4 steps, right? That's the beauty of this ebook, is I have taken the time to work out how we can make these recipes work in simplicity, like not big long pages worth of recipes or like 72 steps like we sometimes have, right? And then you've also got a link to the video where I actually take you through those 3 or 4 steps. And then the videos you guys are seeing then a little bit last week, a little bit this week, are actually the how to use those sauces. So it will make 14, so 2 lots of 7 recipes. But if it's just you and your other half, you're going to get 28 batches. So it's pretty cool. And it's just great to have them. They're like having your chicken tonight jars, or your, in the Asian section, you can get your like bag of sauce pre-made that you would normally put it on a stovetop with the protein. Well, I teach you how to do it in your Thermomix with your own sauces, with no additives, numbers, preservatives, colors, all those things. So it's lots of fun. But getting ready to go away. I'm going to make this for the family for today before I hit the road. So if you've ever seen a demo back in the day, over the last 11, 12 years, you might have seen Pizza Bianca. It's been on our demo menu for a long time. And it's a fabulous recipe. I actually made it on the weekend. We were having friends over. It was my youngest child's 9th birthday. And I will share with you guys. I haven't shared the cake. He wanted a bear cake and we made it. It was beautiful. Good morning, Carissa. How are you? But we were also having friends over for dinner and he wanted lasagna. So I actually used the hidden veggie sauce to make the lasagna sauces, which was cool. So the hidden veggie sauce is part of the Fill the Freezer ebook. But anyway, he wanted then lasagna and salad and garlic bread. And so I used this and I literally made pizza. We actually used our Avana to cook them with some parmesan on top instead of putting it in the oven. But this one's an oven one and I'm going to do the oven version today. Okay, so let's get started cooking. Do say hi if you're watching on. Share these videos with friends and family who have a Thermomix. And maybe they need to keep getting more out of their Thermomix. I'd love to know if you've made Pizza Bianca. It's funny, like some of these classic dishes have been around forever, and yet I bet you there's a few of you watching on today and this is brand new. I do hope there we go, it's coming. Our internet's been down all morning, so we've had a bit of an interesting time. Preheat oven to 220, hotter if possible. I do find anything over about 235 burns from the person who's burnt lots of pizzas at lots of demos, okay? Don't go too hot. They say that, but they don't actually mean it. Line a baking tray or pizza tray with baking paper and set aside. Now we need 2 cloves of garlic. Now I'm using garlic paste because that's what I can get my hands on at the moment. So I'm going to do something a little different because I know this recipe. The next step is rosemary. Now if you don't have fresh rosemary, go to your local produce and buy rosemary and plant it. Generally grows like weeds, except in one big clump, so it's very manageable. But you can use dried herbs. You could use like Italian herbs or something like that. So we're going to strip this off like that. Love fresh rosemary. Now if I'd put my garlic paste in at the beginning, it would have been too liquidy. Now if I had cloves are dry, I'd be fine, but I don't have them. I've only got my paste. So we're not yet putting garlic in. We're actually going to not put that in. We're going to chop this 4 seconds, speed 7. Now, it normally says scrape down the side and do it again. I'm just going to go past that because at the moment it's not quite chopped well either yet. It's kind of started but not enough. Because it doesn't have that substance in it of the garlic, you'll notice it doesn't chop as great just because it's too bouncy. So I give it a big spin and make it go out to the sides. Okay, so that was actually the video I shared with you on, I think I filmed it on Friday and I shared it on YouTube last night, was actually talking about how we can use our speed, and sometimes in using our speed it free spins and it sticks to the side. So the actual answer to that is turn the speed down, even if you never make it to that high speed it called for. Okay, at this point in time I will now add my garlic. So I think it was 2 cloves. We like to be generous around here. Actually, I might do a 1.5 batch of this recipe today, I think that's what I'll leave them with, is a nice big batch. They've actually got lots of food. They've got all the sauces, well not all, at least half the sauces left in the freezer. They've got the pre-cooked ones that I filmed for you guys for next week's content, or this week's content, which I've actually now frozen as a meal. So it's pre-made, like it's now gone past the sauce stage to the meat stage, and now I've frozen that for them. And I've got the fill, so those of you who've been watching on for a while and you might be my Patreon members, you guys know I've got the 5 recipes in half an hour cook, and then I've got the second one of those as well. So I've made 188 and 166 serves. So we have a fair chunk of that in the freezer as well, because I did that a couple of weeks ago. So they've actually got lots of bits to be able to just grab. And I mean, they have a Thermomix and they know how to cook. So I'm actually away for the longest I've ever been away from my family. I will be away for 6.5 days. So I don't think I've ever been longer than 4 days away. Now it says transfer to a bowl and set aside. I'm actually not going to worry. I want this to infuse the actual dough. So I'm going to leave it in the bowl. So that's a little tip that you can do as well. So now it's asking for 220 grams of water. So I'm going to do a 1.5. So I'm going to put 330 in. I'm just grabbing some water in the kettle. My jar's disappeared. I normally have something here to pour with, but not today. It doesn't matter that those herbs and stuff are in the bottom. Okay, in this goes. Okay, next up we've got some sugar. I'm going to skip that. 2 teaspoons of dried instant yeast. If you use the little air-sealed packets, that is a 1.5 packet, because that's 2 teaspoons in a packet. I use the one that you keep in the freezer. Okay. Okay, on with the lid, and it says to heat it to 37 degrees. We're not going to do that. It's probably already 28 here today, so I reckon I can get away with without doing that. So now I'm going to put baker's flour in. Now it is important. Now, GF friends, don't make this recipe. Okay, you might be able to get away with making it if you use. The other day, I bought this. Now it's not cheap, okay? So it's like the second time I've ever bought it. But this is a gluten-free flour that's perfect for short crust, rough puff pastry, and pasta. You might be able to get away with using that to make bread, okay? My intent was to make the pasta for the lasagna. I ended up just using the Brazilian cheese puff recipe and made little long bits with it. But you might be able to get away with that because it's particularly designed for those sorts of pastas. It doesn't say bread, but maybe, okay? But otherwise, I would just use the artisan gluten-free loaf for that. So, if you swap in your packet of gluten-free, supermarket branded one, it is very much probably not going to work. It just doesn't have the thickness. Can you hear my dogs wrestling on the deck with each other? Oh, I think they can tell I'm going. I get that vibe where they're like, Mum's leaving soon. What's going on? Do we get to come? So the suitcase is packed. There's just a few last minute things to go in. Okay, 30 grams of olive oil. So 45 grams of this. And then I think we just got salt. A little heavy there, don't worry about it, yeah? Don't ever fetch that out. So 1 teaspoon of salt. Oh no, it says my internet dropped. Hope I'm still here. Otherwise, check the recording on YouTube tonight. Okay, there's my salt, and now I simply put the lid on and it kneads for me. How cool is that? So I've got a 2-minute knead time. Now what I will do is, those of you who are on YouTube, you're going to see the next part. Those of you on Facebook, come over to YouTube tonight and see how we finish this off and the steps to make most amazing. I'm going to turn it into a big focaccia, big nice fluffy focaccia, so that the kids can put that as a sandwich, slice it in half and use it as kind of sandwich bread. Okay, it's done the knead time, and you can see it just looks absolutely stunning in there. Now I'm going to put it in a thermomat. If you don't have a thermomat, a really flat, well-floured bowl would also work. If you're in Australia, let's have an online demo and get you one discounted. Hey, so you and 2 friends online one evening or through the week, whenever suits, and we can get you one discounted. I think at the moment, and I don't know when you'll watch this video, you might be watching this video in the future, so who knows what it'll be. But at the moment, you get it with a bread tin as well, which is cool. So if you want to grate cheese for pizza or something as well, you don't need a clean bowl. When you pull out dough, it's mostly clean. So that's good to go. So I'm just going to push this together with my mat. Now it's better, because we're making like a focaccia, I'm going to leave it rest for probably only 15-20 minutes in my mat, and it will fill this void in there. So you have got like this spare space, and when we come back we can then roll it out. We'll put some oil on top, some salt. Don't think I've got any parmesan, so it won't be cheese today. And then we'll just cook it. It takes about 12 minutes in a hot oven. So I will see you when this is proven, so that you can see the difference between an unproven dough and a proven dough. We'll see you then. Okay, so you can see it's filled out this space. Look at that. And so that was just in about 15 minutes really. So now we're going to open that up. Now I could divide this into 2 nice, actually I've got a 1.5 batch. I could probably make that into 3 fluffy crusted kind of pizzas. I could make it into 4 thin style pizzas. I'm actually just going to make one big tray, as I made mention earlier. So pretty much what I want to do is somewhat shape this into something that resembles a rectangle. Now the trick to fluffy loaves and breads and doughs is making sure you don't overwork it. So we don't want to knead it. Do not knead it at this point in time. We're just getting it into the shape we want it to grow into. So I want it to grow into a big rectangle. So I'm just pushing it all the way out like a big rectangular pizza. This is a silicone roller. I think it was from like Big W many years ago. It was actually designed for fondant, so icings on cake. I love it because it just makes things so much easier to work. Nothing kind of sticks. So around we go like that. And then we can simply, I like to put, now this is personal preference, you can put it on the tray, let it cook like that. I like to put holes in it. There's actually a thing, I think it's called a docker, you can use for this. It actually creates holes for you, but I just use my fingers. Before I do that, I'm just going to grab some excess flour, hopefully. Can't see any. I must have tucked it away. I'm going to just grab what I've got on hand, and no, this is not a gluten-free dish. I'm just going to use, I want to put some flour on my tray, okay, just so it doesn't stick. This is my rose gold tray. You might not be able to see it up here, so I'm just putting a light dusting on there. Ideally I would have grabbed the baker's flour, but I don't know where, well I put it away with the little dish in it. So a light flouring of that. So I'll just show you that. See? Okay, so what I was going to do is I need to transfer this onto the tray. So just a matter of, I'm just hanging this over my hand, and I might need to slide this up a whisker and then into that tray. There we go. That's what I want. All right, so that's where we're at so far. Now, as I said, little finger holes in it. I could try and push this up a little further. Not too fast. There we go. Obviously, the more you play with it, the less that flour sticks underneath. Now, I need some holes in it. Got some oil here that I could trickle. I'm just gonna spray mine with a decent amount of oil. Now this is where you could put parmesan on top if you want to do toppings, obviously, but as I said, this is going to be like a thing to put sandwiches, fillings in, and then just some salt. And then, can you believe it's ready for the oven? So it's going to take 12 to 15 minutes at that really hot 220, and then it'll be done, and let it come out and cool. Now, little tip, and maybe this is relevant, maybe it's not. But many years ago when I had very little people, we used to do like park plays and stuff just before lunch. So like 10 o'clock till like lunchtime. I would make this in the morning before I left, give it 10 minutes to rise, put it on a tray like this, and then I'd put it in the oven. I'd put it on a delay start, and I'd work out, hey, I'm going to be home at about 12, so I'd get it to start in 2 hours time, cook for 12 to 15 minutes, and get it to stop after 12 to 15 minutes. So when I walked in the door at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, it was ready. It was a little bit hot, but by the time I got it out straight away and kind of had it on the bench and ready to go, that's how we did lunch for many years at my house. So really, if you know how to use your delay start, it's amazing. Okay, we're home these days, I don't need to use it. This place, I haven't even worked out how properly yet. I probably should one day. But there you go. I will show you the picture. You'll see at the beginning and the end of these videos. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gives you the confidence to try making amazing food in your Thermomix. If you're gluten-free, artisan gluten-free loaf using wet hands, you can put the rosemary and the garlic in at the beginning and just leave it as part of the infused loaf, and use baking paper for you. You need baking paper, otherwise it's going to be too stuck to your tray, okay? But it will be beautiful as well. But otherwise, guys, take care. Reach out if you've got questions. I'm more than happy to hear from you. Help you get the most out of your Thermomix. But take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.